Hello YouTube, Captain Mac here, and welcome back to another exclusive look at the TFDi design MD-11. Today we are going to take a look at the EFB, or the electronic flight bag, which I know you guys are all very excited about. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright folks, just as I've been stressing with these other videos, it is important that we remember this is still the in-development version of the aircraft. There are some things that are not yet implemented into this EFB, but that are going to be implemented by the time of final release. As a matter of fact, I spoke specifically with Colin about the EFB and about this video, and he mentioned that at release of Collector's Edition, the EFB will include exterior controls of doors, GPU, and so on, which are not currently implemented. And then after the release of the Collector's Edition, sometime before the final release, they're going to add full takeoff and landing performance. So you'll see that the performance page doesn't have anything on it right now. They're working on getting that fine-tuned so that it works properly in accordance with each variant of the aircraft, each engine type, so on and so forth. And then a detailed maintenance summary and a whole host of options that are going to be under the maintenance tab. So those are things that are coming in the EFB. What we're going to look at today is what is already available in the EFB, what you can do with it right now, and just know that you're going to be able to do quite a bit more with it in the very near future. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is we're going to just go through these one tab at a time. On a couple of these tabs, we might just do them together because there's still information coming for those tabs, so it'll be easier to cover it in one section. That being said, I do have a flight plan over here. It's from Phoenix to Denver, same flight plan that I was using for our flight when we did the fire suppression video. And I'm going to record two videos, probably three videos back to back here. You're going to see this flight plan over and over in these, leading all the way up probably to the full flight tutorial. So just don't be surprised when you see the same information repeated several times. That's just because we're using the same flight plan. Now, that being said, we look at our payload tab here. Now, you have to go into your payload tab to load fuel on the aircraft. So you're going to need to make use of this tab right from the start. And as you can see here, now we're using the passenger variant of the aircraft. The cargo variant has not been released yet. I know that I'm pretty sure somebody asked in the comment section, or maybe they asked in the Discord, I don't remember, but they asked when the freighter version is going to be released. I don't know. You have to get with TFDi design on that. I don't have that specific information, but we're going to be using the passenger variant today. And so what we're going to do is we're going to load our weights here. It's pretty straightforward. As you can see, you need a flight plan. It tells you how many passengers you have, your average weight per passenger. Now I think you can tune this on SimBrief. That's what we're going with for now. We're going to just leave that as our average weight. Then you're going to put your cargo in here and your fuel. You could also go over here and you could put your zero fuel weight and then your fuel quantity and set payload that way. And that's just a little bit quicker. Now, we're not going to do both, and the reason we're not going to do both is because once you set payload, if you do it again, it wants to reset everything, and it's just a bit of a pain in the butt. And there's no reason to do it anyway. So we're going to start right here. We're going to click in there, and you want to make sure that cursor is on the right side of the number that's there. If it's on the left side, it acts a little funky. I'm not sure why it's set up that way, but there you have it. So we have 309 passengers today. Type that in there. We're going to leave the average weight at 180 pounds. Our cargo today is going to be 16,995 pounds. And as soon as I click to the next box, it just sets that. It's set now. And then our fuel today, our block fuel, is going to be, I got to find it over here, 36,364 pounds. So if I just start typing it, see, can't do that. You got to hit backspace. 36,364. So if you got a number in there, if it's not a 0, you're going to have to hit backspace to get rid of the number, then type in the new one, and there you go. And then we're just going to hit set payload, okay? And then we get this screen here, so it shows our load is at 29%, gives us our gross weight, zero fuel weight, our fuel on board, which we just put in, our total payload at 72,615 pounds, and then it gives us a zero fuel weight center of gravity and a current center of gravity. Now, if you hit go back, that's to actually redo it. Right now, it has sent the fuel and the load information to the FMC. So I don't want to go back because then I have to re-input the information. So just keep that in mind. Once you load your payload, you need to leave it on this page here. You're going to need this information when you're using the FMC anyway, so keep that in mind. Alrighty then, let's take a look at the performance page. Ta-da! Nothing there right now. As mentioned already, full takeoff and landing performance is going to be implemented into the EFB, but it's coming at a little bit in a future date, because they want to make sure everything's fine-tuned properly, and they have to consider all the different variants. So there's nothing on here at the moment. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it, but when you click on each of these tabs to go to the next one, if you see right here, it shows the little hand, but if I click, it's not switching. You have to be really close to the center. Not sure why that is, but once you get close to the center of the button, it works just fine. So keep that in mind, because that seems to be the case for all the buttons. Now, I do know that they're working on getting that click spot a little bit bigger, but in the meantime, if you're clicking on it, it's not working. Just make sure you get to the center of it to click, and there you go. Okay, now charts page. Sign in with Navigraph pops up right here. You're going to click on it, and then you can use the QR code, or you can visit navigraph.com if you have a Navigraph subscription, which I do, and I will have this linked up. Matter of fact, so you can't see it on the screen, but I just pulled out my phone, took a picture of the QR code real quick. Now I'm putting in my login information on my phone. This is actually really great. So I've got my login information on my phone using that QR code that's on the screen that you're seeing right now. You can try it if you want, but you'll need my login. Actually, I think it would work with your login as well. So, and then I just hit approve. I hit allow. Now watch. I'm going to have charts here in just a second. So this is pretty great. See, there you go, just like that. Now I have charts in here. Now there's one little funky thing about this. When I click on here, so I'm going to put in Phoenix, for example. So some of these keys, my keyboard keys, they're hotkeys for other things. So when I type that in, you see it bounced over here, which is a little funny to me. But what's even funnier is that when you come over here now, you can see KPHX is in there. So I'm going to hit search. There we go. And then I'll go to our taxi, and then airport information, and that's going to give us our basic information. Basically, here you go. You got your charts available to you. Now, it doesn't show the flight plan. We're going to get to that in a little bit, and integrating SimBrief and all of that stuff, and how that should work. So, but for the interim, if I can talk here, in the interim, we have charts available to us. If you have a Navigraph charts subscription, you can log in using the QR code, and then you have your charts available. So if nothing else, I at least have the chart there, so I can go in here. Pretty sure that our departure today is going to be the Marble 1, and so there you go. We've got the Marble 1 departure available to us, and so on. So it's fantastic. Chart implementation is already there, though it's not the full functionality that I think they're working towards. And I haven't really talked with Colin about that, so I don't know how much more they are going to add to this, or if it's going to just be what it is right now. But either way, it's nice to be able to have access to my charts right here on the EFB. Alright, taking a look at the maintenance tab then. Ta-da! Just like the performance page, there's nothing on here right now, but there is a full implementation of maintenance things that are going to be in here. I don't actually know what the maintenance tab will include. Whether or not things like control of ground services and so on will be on the maintenance tab, doors, etc., or if that's going to be a separate tab. I think that'll be in the maintenance tab, but that's just me thinking out loud here on the video. Not 100% certain on that. Either way, there will be a lot of options available to you on the maintenance tab, so just keep that in mind. So we're going to jump from there right to the panel state tab, and you can see here now these do work. Panel states are working right now. Now I'm not going to change any of these panel states right now, and the reason I'm not going to do that is because then I got to redo everything, and I don't want to do that right now. That being said, if you hop into the aircraft and the engines are running, you want to go to cold and dark, which is something that we will be doing when we do a full flight tutorial. We'll go from cold and dark all the way through a startup procedure, through the air, back to the ground, and shut everything back down. That's how we do a full flight tutorial. However, we're not doing that today, so we're going to leave it in the ready to fly state. Now, I just want to be clear, ready to fly means the engines are running, everything's in the condition you would have it to be ready to fly the aircraft, with the exceptions of the FMC planning isn't done, flaps aren't set, trim isn't set, things like that. Those are still things you would have to do here. This really just refers to the engine and panel state, right? That's why it's called the panel state. Imagine that. Either way, same thing. You want to click near the center of the button. Again, I'm not going to click it right now, but when you click it, it will change the condition. It's not instantaneous. It takes a few seconds, so something to keep in mind, especially if you're going from say cold and dark to ready to fly. Now I will say this, the EFB does not turn on without power on the aircraft. So if it's cold and dark, you do need to know where the battery is, or the button for the battery, in order to bring the EFB on. And just for those of you who maybe don't know, if you hop up to your overhead panel, your battery button is located right here. So if you click once, it's going to open the cover. Click a second time, that's going to turn the button on, and then you'll have power on the aircraft. And if you do that and then hop over to your EFB, go to your panel state page, you can put it in ready to start or ready to fly, and that'll bring all those systems online. You can also set which one you want as default by clicking where the green bar is down here. So you can see when I highlight in the center of the button, the green bar is not highlighted. If I move it down, green bar is highlighted. Now if I click there, it's going to set cold and dark as the default. Now when you set it as default, it's also going to change to that state right now. So if I want cold and dark to be my default state and I'm in a ready to fly condition, just know that if you're going to change it to the default state to cold and dark right now, it's also going to change the state to cold and dark right now. So keep that in mind. And then of course you've got load last save. I don't know that I'll make use of that ever. I usually prefer to just have it cold and dark. That's the easiest way to go. All right, last but not least, let's talk about the options page. There's actually quite a few options available to you, and I believe there are more coming. But you can see right here on the General Options tab, we've got General Systems Performance. On the General Options tab, we've got the weight units, imperial or metric, temperature in Fahrenheit or Celsius, and then your SimBrief username. So once SimBrief integration is complete, then you're going to put your SimBrief username in here, click on Save, and then it's going to link it to your SimBrief. Now, I don't know exactly how that's going to be implemented into the aircraft. I just know that talking with Colin, it is going to be implemented. And so I imagine it's going to bring in payload information, hopefully performance information, maybe, maybe not. And then I don't know if it's going to link from here to the FMC, but if it doesn't, that's all right, because I'm going to show you how to build a flight plan in the FMC in the next video anyway. So you can see on here again, imperial or metric weight units. So if you're flying pretty much anywhere but the United States, you're going to be on metric. I don't know anybody that uses Fahrenheit for temperature. I think we use Celsius no matter where we're at. And then of course, SimBrief username. Jumping over to the systems page, you can change your fuel center of gravity control percentage. You can change your standby horizon indicator from digital to the old school just by disabling that. You can enable or disable the fuel stick, RCWS tape displays, or dial displays. I prefer the dials in the MD-11, but you can change it over to tape displays if you like. High decel rate ABS, single queue flight director. This one, interestingly enough, some people have some heartburn over this. I saw some people were getting a little worked up. They don't like that single queue. Now, I don't like the single queue either. I like the crosses. But if you like the single queue flight director, you can enable that here. Inhibiting tire failure, I like having that disabled. If you're slamming on the brakes too hard or anything like that, anything that could cause your tires to fail, well, I like to have that enabled to make sure I'm not doing silly things. Wind vector type, whether it's vector or track. So I believe vector shows a little cross on there with an arrow pointed in each direction of the wind. So your headwind and your crosswind component showed separately. And then I think track is just a single arrow pointed in the direction of the total wind. Hopefully that makes sense. Radio or radar altimeter, show it or hide it. And then WBS. All of those can be changed on here. Any changes you make, you need to make sure that you hit save on here. Otherwise, the changes won't take effect. Jumping over to performance, you can change your takeoff D rates 1 and 2, your climb D rates 1 and 2, and then your go around D rates 1 and 2. And I haven't messed with any of those. That's something that either you need to be really familiar with the MD-11, or you're going to have to spend some time in the flight crew operations manual to understand what should be what on there. And that's going to wrap it up for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I want to keep these videos nice and short, highlight some of these systems, and show you the goodies that are going on, all the amazing work that TFDi Design has been doing on this aircraft. Now, I could just say that I've been following this project for years. I've been friends with Colin for a long time, and I've seen this aircraft come through some of its development. I haven't had it in my sim, but I've had opportunity to talk with Colin and see some of the coding work going on and things like that, and it's just... to me, it's really, really cool to see what I see inside this simulator right now as compared to what I saw, you know, 8 months ago or when I've you know, talked with Colin and seen some of the coding work and stuff like that, and just to see that translate into this and see things really coming together and working the way that they are working as seamlessly and as technically accurate and good as they are, it's just really cool to me. I just think it's really neat to see that translate from lines of code into functionality inside the simulator. It's just really neat. So I'm really excited about the upcoming release of the collector's edition of the aircraft, and then ultimately about the full release of the aircraft. I'm excited for you guys too, because I've had this great privilege of having access to this aircraft early, but honestly, I'm really excited to see all of you get access to this aircraft as well. It's so much fun to fly. They're doing such an amazing job on it, and it's something that, you know, many of us are just tremendous fans of the MD-11, and I don't blame you one bit. So it's a great time. We're going to do some more videos here, and that's it. That's all, and no more, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, as always, keep the blue side up, unless otherwise instructed by ATC. God bless you all, and have an absolutely fantastic day.